It feels like everywhere you turn these days, someone's trying to scam you. Yeah. Like, every time I check the news, there's a new financial scam I got to worry about.
And you're right to be worried. It seems like scammers are always one step ahead. Technology really changes the game.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about this article you shared, about the Treasury Department using AI to fight fraud. It sounds like they're finally fighting fire with fire.
And winning, which is the important part. They're not just cleaning up the mess afterward. This is about protecting your money before it even has a chance to disappear.
Okay, now you're talking my language. But seriously, how much money are we talking about here?
Get this, $4 billion. That's how much the Treasury recovered or protected from fraud in this past fiscal year alone. And get this, that's more than 10 times what they managed the year before.
10 times. Okay, that's not even on the same playing field. That's mind-blowing. But hold
Yeah.
on, I gotta ask, how does AI even play into this? It's not like they have some kind of magic crystal ball, right?
No crystal ball, but they have something even better. It's called risk-based screening. It's basically an AI system that constantly analyzes financial transactions for any suspicious activity. Think of it like a super detective, but for your wallet.
Okay, that makes it way less scary and way cooler.
Yeah.
So they're catching these fraudulent transactions before they even happen.
You got it. That's how they stopped $500 million in shady payments last year alone. But wait, it gets even better.
You're kidding. What's better than stopping a crime before it happens?
How about catching the crooks before they even make a move? That's where the other $2.5 billion comes in. They're using AI to proactively sniff out fraud.
Okay, color me impressed. So you're saying my money's actually safer than I thought?
Let's just say the bad guys are facing an uphill battle these days. And the best example, check fraud.
Ah, yeah, check fraud. Didn't that skyrocket during the pandemic? Like
Yeah.
385% or something crazy.
Unfortunately, yeah. That number's burned into my brain. But here's where the good news comes in. AI is turning the tables on these guys. See, they're using machine learning, which basically means the AI teaches itself how to spot a fake check. It can analyze millions of transactions in seconds, way faster and more accurate than any human could.
Wow, it's like they've got a force field around every check that gets written. Makes me almost want to dust off my checkbook. Almost. But how does it actually work in real life? Like, does my bank get a little alert that says, are you sure about this?
Pretty much. The system can instantly flag a suspicious check and tell the bank to put the brakes on before any money changes hands.
Talk about a financial safety net. This AI thing is starting to sound like a superhero or something. But $1 billion just from fraudulent checks?
Seriously.
Seriously. Which just goes to show how powerful this tech really is. But what's even more interesting is it's not just about catching the bad guys after the fact. AI is actually making the entire Treasury Department run smoother and saving taxpayers a ton of money in the process. Hold on, are you saying AI is like a personal finance guru for the entire government now?
You could say that. By finding ways to optimize, make their payment processes more efficient, they've already saved a cool $180 million that would have been wasted on mistakes.
Okay, less wasted money and a smoother running government. I think that's what they call a win-win.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask, there's no way the Treasury is doing all this AI magic on their own, right?
Good point. They're not working alone, and that's where it gets even more interesting. But we'll dive into that right after this.
All right, you left us hanging. Who else is in on this whole AI-powered fraud squad?
Well, the Treasury Department's got some pretty powerful partners. Think FBI, Homeland Security, all the big leagues.
Makes sense. AI can probably point them in the right direction, but you need those human brains to actually catch the bad guys, right?
Exactly. It's the perfect example of humans and AI teaming up. The AI can sift through mountains of data and raise a red flag. Then it's up to the investigators to dig in, follow the money trail and build a case.
So it's like they each bring their own strengths to the table.
Exactly. Like you said, it's all about teamwork. AI can analyze millions of data points in a snap, but it takes human judgment and experience to put all the pieces together.
This is seriously impressive stuff. But it does make you wonder, if the good guys are using AI to fight crime, couldn't the bad guys use it too?
That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, any tool can be dangerous in the wrong hands, especially something as powerful as AI.
So it's like a never-ending game of cat and mouse then.
Yeah.
As soon as the good guys develop a new AI tool, the criminals will just find new ways to get around it.
It's definitely a race, that's for sure. And the scary thing is, it's hard to predict what the bad guys will come up with next. The Financial Stability Oversight Council, they actually put out a warning about this. They're worried AI could be used to create super realistic fake transactions or even mess with the stock market.
Okay, yeah, that is a little unsettling. So how do we even begin to stay ahead of something like that?
That's exactly why initiatives like the Treasury Department's AI program are so vital. It's about being proactive, anticipating the next move, not just playing catch up. And that takes constant innovation, always staying one step ahead of the game.
So what does all this mean for the average person? What can we do to protect ourselves in this wild west of AI and financial crime?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think that's a perfect place to pick up after the break.
So we've talked about the good, the bad, and the potentially ugly when it comes to AI and fraud. But for the average person who just wants to keep their money safe, what's the takeaway here?
Well, it's definitely a brave new world we're living in, that's for sure. I think it's a mixed bag, honestly. There's good reason to feel optimistic, but we also got to stay cautious.
Okay, I like the sound of optimism. Let's start there. What's it get you feeling good about the future?
Well, for one thing, we're already seeing just how effective AI can be at fighting fraud. And these successes we're seeing with the Treasury Department, those aren't just flukes. AI is catching these criminals, getting people's money back, and even stopping fraud before it even happens. That's a game changer.
Okay, I have to admit, that is pretty impressive. But you said we have to be cautious too. What did you mean by that?
Well, as much as I'd love to say AI will eliminate fraud altogether, it's not quite that simple. Criminals are always going to be looking for ways to exploit new tech, right? And the more advanced AI gets, the more likely it is that the bad guys will find ways to use it for their own benefit, too.
So it's a constant back and forth then. The good guys use AI, the bad guys find a workaround, and the cycle continues.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell, yeah. But that's why it's more important than ever for everyday people to be informed. Knowledge is power, right? The more you understand about AI and how it can be used, both for good and for bad, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. It's easy to think, oh, this is something for the government or the banks to worry about. But really, we all have to take responsibility for our own financial safety in this day and age.
Absolutely. Stay up to date on the latest scams, be super careful about who you're sharing your personal info with, and keep a close eye on your bank accounts and credit card statements.
Awareness is key. Wow, this has been a real eye-opener. I had no idea AI was already playing such a huge role in fighting fraud. It really makes you wonder what the future holds. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where AI has completely wiped out fraud?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I guess only time will tell. But no matter what happens, it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
And on that note, I think the best advice we can give our listeners is to stay informed, stay vigilant, and buckle up. This ride's just getting started.